Welcome back to Inside Boxing's Throwdown. My name is Steve Johnson, Raylan Martinez. We haven't seen you guys for a little bit, but we're back, and as I've said before many times, often imitated but never duplicated, Inside Boxing's Throwdown. Radio, this past weekend, we had more than a couple of good fights, but the PBC Premier Boxing Champion Series with Al Heyman. As usual, I hate to say it, but as usual, there's controversy involving a couple other fights, but you go ahead and lead in.
Well, I think part of the boxing fans don't mind that they like the rock'em sock'em and knockouts. They knock the knockouts, okay? Yeah. But when you got a card full of quick knockouts, which is what this was, it just kind of the true fan, it kind of leaves them. Well, I want to see some competition. I mean, they even had to put a filler fight at the back end of the fight. With Eddie Chambers to fight, just to kind of fill in the time that they had on NBC on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, let's get to the thing. Of course, you had Victor Ortiz and Andre Berto, which was a rematch, 5 years in the making, and then you had on the undercard you had Edwin Rodriguez, who faced Thomas Williams. Okay,
yeah,
and. That one surprised me. Let's talk about that one first, okay? Because I expected Edwin Rodriguez to actually come out, and I favored him to win the fight.
Yeah, a little longer than 2 rounds.
Yeah, I thought he'd do, but you know what? He came in. I don't overly excited. I don't know what the problem was, but he came in and started swinging with Thomas, and what happened? Williams caught him, put him down in the second round, and it was over. I mean, it was over. It was one of them shots that lights out, and it was over. Second round. So then they went to the main event, which was Victor Ortiz and Andrew.
Well, hold on 1 second. Let me just talk about the Edwin Rodriguez and Thomas Williams fight. I didn't think that Rodriguez had a chance. I actually thought that he's in it for the payday. We got a lot of guys now, radio, who are in, that used to have a good solid background, good solid boxing resume that now are looking for the payday. And I can't blame them for that, but it's also, that's where it falls up into the promoter to make sure that these guys who are looking for the payday are up to snuff. And so far as I'm concerned, that's where Al Heyman has dropped the ball. We have too many mismatches coming up on his, like I said before, predictable. You can predict the outcome of almost every fight on the Premier Boxing Champions.
And if we get a chance, we'll talk a little bit about that, because the investors, the people that are actually putting the money back in that whole Al Heyman things, they've actually started a lawsuit. They're not real happy with their return.
You can't blame them.
But you can't blame them. The shows have been predictable. They haven't been very good. You know who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of will. I'll let that lead us into the Victor Ortiz fight, because that one was not a given. Because in my eyes, we had 2 guys that are used to quitting when the fire gets hot in the kitchen. They run out. So I was kind of wondering who was going to quit first. And
well, see, I don't feel that way about Andre Berto. It's hard to pin that on Victor Ortiz, because sometimes he looks like a world beater, and other times then he comes back, and when the going gets a little bit tough, he has no problem in just throwing and telling. My major concern with Victor Ortiz is that he talked a good talk, and I actually gave Victor Ortiz a chance to win this. But you know what? I do give a lot of credit to most of the boxing pundits. They all favored Berto.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, what is it that they're favoring in him? And I think that it's, first of all, is that they know each other so well.
Yep.
And we know that, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, if there's somebody who's going to quit, it was going to be Ortiz. Shockingly, Andre Berto got dropped in the second round. Nothing that was devastating, just a good solid left-handed set him down on his pants. He got right up and got back into it. Unlike Victor Ortiz, when he got that uppercut, for all intents and purposes, he didn't need to get up. I mean, because he wasn't going to do anything more after he got Berto launched the all-out attack on him.
Yeah, you just see it, and you're right. He shouldn't have even got up. It would have been better.
Yeah, because he embarrassed himself.
It would have saved him a lot of embarrassment if he'd have just stood down and people, because it was a good shot.
It was.
It was a beautiful uppercut.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he got up and he was on his feet, and you can see that he was okay. He was coherent. He was okay. The problem, what else you can see is that is the quit, is the quit in his eyes, and
in his mouth.
It was done
in his mouth.
Yeah,
about to quit in his mouth.
It was done. So basically, people can say what they want to say. He quit. He quit. The referee talked to him, gave him a chance. He turned around, and the referee kind of made it easy for him. Said that he just looked away. But if you look close at the replay, he shook no.
That's what I said,
he
his
did
mouth.
that nod. He did that nod. He said no, and then turned to Ray. He basically quit, and no one can dispute that. He quit, and that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. So let him go on and do his movies if he can get another part in the movie or get another career. But boxing's not him. Boxing's
you think
not.
some more Dancing with the Stars is in line for him?
Boxing's not for him. So
let me say one. I know, but let me say one other thing about that real quick. Hope you guys got to see afterwards where that fan, that clown, that jerk, that butthole threw a pizza
box. Yeah, trash. It was trash. He threw trash
at Victor Ortiz, and I don't care if he had a bet on him or what or whatever that was, but that's something that's uncalled for. He was into a little bit of a scuffle with security. He deserved a beat down. He really deserved a beat down for that, Aurelio.
Well, I can see his frustration.
Okay,
but you don't bow that low to where you're throwing stuff at the fighter. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, you gotta accept it. He quit, and but you can't go on throwing. Even though it was garbage, it wasn't anything that was gonna hurt him. It was garbage. It was a pizza box and some burrito containers or whatever it was. If you look close. But still, you're right. No need for that. So they need to find him and
file the charges on him. I don't care what it is. But
anyway,
let's go to
we got 3 minutes here. Let's talk about the other channel that we had going, and of course that was on Showtime, where you had Badu Jack, and he fought Lucien Boutte
in the main event, and then the undercard that was the.
Now that fight ended in a draw, so
Boutte and Jack.
Yeah, so they ended up Boutte.
Well, real quick, what was your feeling about that?
Well, I thought Jack won the fight.
Clearly won the fight.
I think he clearly won the fight.
Don't sugarcoat it. He clearly won the fight.
I think he clearly won. But being that it was a draw, I mean, had he lost, okay, it would have ruined the next fight, which both he had a fight, and then
James DeGale.
And James DeGale was on the same card. And
right.
If he did his part, that set up the unification bout.
Right.
Okay.
And that's going to happen.
And that's going to happen now. But to think about these judges and what they were watching, I mean, obviously, we need to talk just a segment on the judging, on boxing.
That's become an
judging
issue.
Because
it really has.
It's become. It's always been an issue, but it's become a big issue now.
Yeah.
Where it's actually interfering with the game. So
let me say this. You know this. A lot of the fans don't, but you know this. I was big Lucien Boutte fan from the beginning when they first started talking about the Super Six with Andre Ward, Carl Froch, Arthur Abraham. I picked Boutte to win that, but then remember Boutte didn't compete, okay, and that was because of his WBC, WBA, whatever.
Exactly.
But he didn't compete. So, Lucien, time to retire, buddy.
Yeah, it is. And DeGale, well, he did his job against Rogelio Medina. I didn't know anything about Rogelio Medina, but he did his job and set up the unification. So, I mean, that's actually going to be a pretty good fight, in my opinion. I kind of look forward to watching that fight.
I look forward to it for one reason. James DeGale has really been bumping his gums.
Yeah.
Really been bumping his gums about he's the best out there.
Yeah.
Got to remember, folks, Badu Jack is Floyd Mayweather's boy. He's a money team guy. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes out. I agree. That's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, that's that doesn't carry any weight with me.
It does with me.
Because his fighters lose.
Well,
Mayweather's fighters lose.
Good one.
You look at them, they lose.
Good one.
So there's something in that camp, unless Floyd's there training him, whoever he's got working his fighters are not doing the job because they're too focused on being, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Going to the club.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on training, but they lose. His fighters lose. So I expect Jack to lose.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
we're going to come back and with our next segment, which is what a lot of people have been waiting for a while. You know, here we got Amir King Khan, taking on Saul Canelo Alvarez on May the 7th. Cinco de Mayo action. We're going to talk about that in depth. I think you already know, with it being Cinco de Mayo, Aurelio's probably going to take Amir Khan. I will take Canelo Alvarez. We'll see when we come right back.
We'll be back with our next episode where we'll talk about the upcoming fight. Okay? So till then, keep them hands up, baby.
Keep them up, baby.